our distribution systems as pipes expanded yesterday. Thanks to our city's investment in smart meter technology, we were able to take immediate targeted action. Yesterday, our system identified 35 locations with abnormally high water usage, a clear indicator of potential leaks. At that time, we dispatched crews at each location. Several of these sites, we confirmed water leaks, and we were able to isolate them and close them off and secure those sites. Overnight, our water storage towers and clear wells showed a strong recovery. Is exactly what we expected to see when the demand dropped and we had sealed off those leaks. And so this morning, we identified 2 water main breaks in our distribution system at 1100 Bomar and at Nathan and Grove. Repair crews are working on these locations now, and all repairs are expected to be completed by the end of business today. I want to take a second, too, to recognize our dedicated professionals in our city. We've been working and preparing for this event since January 19th, like many agencies around us in emergency management. When the National Weather Service advised that this was coming, we've taken the time to make plans and preparations, including for the aftermath of the winter storm. We knew and we've expected for these water leaks and pipe busts. This is a common occurrence in an event like this. And our staff has been working around the clock and just very professional. And we have a lot of people behind the scenes that have made this response go as seamlessly as possible. And so I want to make sure that we thank those folks. We would not be at this point without their dedicated service. And I want to also reiterate how proactive we've been in this, that our system is stable, and this notification, this is all out of an abundance of caution to make sure that we don't have to do things and issue boil water notices and so forth. Okay, so this is all in preparation to prevent those very things. As temperatures continue to rise today, we expect that there may be potential for additional water leaks. The cycle of freezing and thawing is what causes these. We have our process in place, and we're prepared to respond immediately to those, and so we will continue to update as those things happen. But we are cautiously optimistic that we've identified the major concerns that we had, and we expect the system to be stable throughout this event. Obviously, we'll continue to communicate with the public. If the public has any leaks, we encourage them to report those to our 24-hour line, which is 903-935-4487. And again, the City of Marshall is committed to maintaining a reliable water service for our community. Our investment in technology, combined with the dedication of our crews, it allows us to respond quickly and effectively to challenges like this. And we will continue to monitor this system closely in the coming days. Thank you very much. And at this time, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
So with it getting colder tonight and the days ahead, do people still need to be dripping their faucet, or will that just mess up y'all's progress even more?
So the dripping of the faucets is one of those things that really that's intended for houses that have exposed pipes, like pier and beam homes, mobile homes, things like that, where they have pipes that are exposed above the ground. The dripping of the faucets is what allows to keep the water to continue moving, and those pipes don't freeze. If you have a slab foundation home and you have well-insulated house, there's no need for you to drip your faucets. It gets pushed out because it's, sometimes we have to clarify those things, but it gets pushed out. But the dripping of the faucets it's not creating an impact on our system. We anticipate it every year. It's not an issue for us. If they feel comfortable dripping them, they can still continue to drip them, but it's only necessary if you have exposed pipes.
So it's really just the leaks and not that.
Correct. Yeah, there's been a lot of information on social media that it may be these dripping the faucets. I want to assure everyone that we've been monitoring this since before the storm and during the storm, and what we noted yesterday that caused us concern was a change, and we've had these faucets dripping since Friday, and we noticed a change yesterday. So it was a new event for us. So that was not the cause of our problem.
Was this storm, in your opinion, was it worse or better than what you hoped?
I will tell you from our position here in Marshall, the preparation that we did, we planned for an absolute worst case scenario. And if I were drawing it up today, what would I want to see? This is about as smooth as it could go for us. We had very minimal power outages compared to our neighboring counties. We had very little freezing rain, which is, as we've probably told many of you before, the freezing rain is the precipitation that causes us the most problems. It accumulates on trees and power lines, which then causes the power outages. So because we were able to avoid those two things, we were able to keep our houses and power on, keep the houses warm, people in their homes. So if I were drawing it up, you couldn't ask for a better outcome if you have to go through a winter event like this. Many of our neighboring counties have had it much worse than us, so we're very, very pleased. However, like anything else, we have our challenges here with a thawing, and I think this will be something that you see happening pretty frequently in the areas around us. Some of the counties that are south of us are still pretty heavily covered. I think you'll see the same thing happening there. We were just very fortunate that we were able to identify it quickly and get out in front of it.
Is there good contact information that you could give us for someone that might observe a water main break?
Yes, ma'am. So that's that 24-hour line, and it is the number. I'll give it to you again is 903-935-4487. And I would like to, on behalf of the Public Works, I'd like to reiterate we will send people to help shut off your water. What we don't want to do is have people trying to shut off water and do it themselves because they may or may not actually shut the correct valve off. So our Public Works people will respond. If you call that line, we will have people out there as quickly as we can get them out there and shut off the water for you. And then they will walk you through the process of what you need to do from that point forward.
That's a lot of information. Thank you for giving us that.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's, you know, a lot of these leaks, it sounds like, are going to be the responsibility of the homeowners, right?
Yes, sir. Standard is anything from the meter to the house is the responsibility of the homeowner. What we targeted yesterday, just to kind of further clarify, we specifically started our water main checks with that system. We specifically started with vacant properties that we knew because nobody would be there to report those, okay? So that's where we started, and then we escalated from there. And we did find a few residences where people were, it's an occupied residence, but they weren't home. So we went ahead and shut their water off and made notifications. But as we've investigated these, and again, we'll continue to do so as they come up, we're gonna make sure that we stop the leaks and then make notifications to the homeowner. And again, if you have a problem, we'll help walk you through that process.
Were these pier and beam homes, slab, both?
It's been everything that we've seen to this point has been, to my knowledge, has been either a mobile home or an older pier and beam home. I haven't been informed of any that were slab homes, but I'm gonna be cautious about that and tell you that if one pops up, that was not a question we were asking. It was more about stopping the leak. So
Has, where these areas where it's leaking, has the water been shut off?
yes, and all the ones that we identified, they've all been turned off, and notifications have been made if the property owner wasn't there. So.
At this point, it's just assessing who is going to put the bill. Right?
Well, and again, if it's past the meter, unfortunately, that's the homeowner's responsibility. But that's another thing that insurance will sometimes help take care of if they have those in their policies. And again, it's we're happy to help as much as we can. But by law, we're not allowed to go past the meter. All we can do is shut it off at the meter, and then from that point forward, it's the homeowner's responsibility.
So were some of these homes like over 50 years old?
You know, the only one that I know of, the specific details on, it was an older home. It was a pier and beam house. It had a significant leak. Just for context, we identified it early on. It was 1,100 gallons per hour of flow, and the reason it was so high is because the service line that fed that house came directly off of a 12-inch main, and so that 12-inch main carries a higher pressure, and so it was pushing more water. That was our first red flag that we're like, hey, something is definitely not right. We responded to that location. We shut off that water, and that was an unoccupied. They're away. They're not there, and so we shut off that water and then made notifications to them. That was the most dramatic example of what we had yesterday. Most of them were not that significant. They were anywhere between 50 and 100 gallons per hour, which is a slight spike, an uptick, but not excessive. That was probably the most excessive.
Did that particular one cause any erosion issues or anything?
No, sir, not at this point. And again, we have lots of things that we'll have to continue to evaluate for as we go on because we'll have some further issues. But I want to be clear: we're not out of the woods yet, but we are well ahead of the game based on where we may have been before without the technology. The technology has really saved us in this situation. So we're happy that the city made that investment in it.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say kudos for the great response time and quick turnaround. And did you credit that to the pre-preparation?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You had a question, too.
I did.
Yes.
So you said y'all have been monitoring this since the beginning of the month for like what was the issue that caught your attention and got this on your radar?
Well, so let me kind of back up. So in emergency management, we have a great working relationship with Texas Division of Emergency Management, the National Weather Service, and all of our partners. Throughout this process, for the general public's consumption, when we have an event like this, we will usually stand up an EOC, which is an Emergency Operations Center. That Emergency Operations Center basically is a coordinating hub where we have contact with our partners, whether it be Christus, the hospitals, the school districts, the county officials. It's basically a hub where we can all communicate and share information everywhere from the state, county, local agencies. When we were notified on the 19th, okay, that we had a potential for severe winter weather. The way that process usually starts is that we get that notification. National Weather Service will make that, and I'm sure you guys probably in the media were all, hey, we've been told this is coming. Everybody starts to ramp things up. Well, we do the exact same thing. We began by taking out and evaluating our plans that we have in place. We have these in place year-round. We pull them off the shelf. We make sure that we're good to go, that we've done our checklists and have everything ready to go. We took some initial steps to make sure that we had everything prepared to respond in the event of, this instance or that instance. We look at all those things and make sure that everything is checked off and ready to go. Tuesday, we began having special weather calls with the National Weather Service out of Shreveport. We had calls every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday was the first day we didn't have a call, but at that point we knew what was coming. And so we start that process with them, trying to get what's the confidence level that this is going to happen, what do we expect the impact to be, and then that drives what we do in preparation. And so we have all these plans, and basically we try to put them in place based on what we think is going to come. And then we work with all of our partners. In fact, in the press release, with the water distribution, that the issue that we're having, we will be distributing water today to the public from 2 to 6 here at the convention center. And this event, when we recognized the issue that we had, we put in a request to the Texas Division of Emergency Management. We requested 40 pallets of water. That will be here before noon today, knock on wood, hopefully, barring any traffic delays. And we will have that unloaded, and we'll begin handing that out this afternoon. And should we have any further complications, we're prepared to hand out water for the next several days. And then we'll make a plan if any additional resources are needed. But all that is pre-built and pre-baked into the cake well in advance. And so, not to muddy the waters, but a lot of times people don't realize all the things that are happening sometimes years in advance of an event like this. And we learn from each one of these we do. So when we had the Storm Uri in 21, we learned a lot of lessons from that one, and those lessons applied here today. There's a lot of things, and I'm just thankful that we've taken that approach and things are going well. So
just want to make sure I'm understanding, the storm and the freeze did create the leak?
Yes, everything that we're dealing with in our system today is a direct relation of the stress that was put on the system from the frost. So.
And it's a freeze and thaw kind of issue.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay.
Which is the other reason for the general public. That's the reason we didn't have anything until yesterday, because we haven't really gotten above freezing for an extended period of time. We needed to be above freezing for an extended period of time for it to thaw and see where the ruptures were. Right. That's what happened yesterday. And we were notified at 10 a.m. by our water department that we were starting to see an increase, and we immediately started responding to that. So.
Can we ask Chief Caruth?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. You go ahead first with
So,
Chief Raymond.
just for clarification, the water leaks are from either homeowners or business owners, not city mains.
No, we have two. So it's a combination. Our approach yesterday was because sometimes it's more difficult to identify the problems in the water mains. Sometimes they have to expose themselves. We do have technology in place to help us locate those. But we were early enough on in the event that they weren't indicating yet. The leak hadn't become severe enough, right? So again, very proactive. What we were being notified of was the leaks at the meters. And so the approach was, we'll stop these, and then we'll continue to evaluate for our side of the system, which is why we issued the press release, and it's why we took the conservative, we want to be conservative with our water use.
And just another follow-up. So the water, you just mentioned about the pallets of water coming in. Is it because you need potable water, or is it just so people have water to use.
Right. This is a precaution. We addressed the issue. We were concerned if our water levels, if we had additional breaks that we weren't prepared for yet. We were concerned that we wanted to have, it's much easier to be ahead of the curve and have the water ready to go than to have to try and ramp that up when we have water shut off, right? And so that's the approach that we took. We got out in front of it. We requested it. The state approved it. And so that water is, each household will get one case. Obviously, we will ramp that up if anything further develops. But for us, it was more about just a precautionary. Our water system is up and running and stable. And that's what I say. The leaks that we have, we're trying to identify them. This is well in advance. But what we saw, we did not, with this weather and with it would take us so much time to ramp that stuff up. We did not want to take that risk. It was just a gamble we weren't willing to do.
So did the pressure ever drop low enough for a boil water now?
No, sir, it did not.
And did it drop low enough that it caused an issue? Have any fires happened?
We've had some structure fires during the actual winter event, not since the thaw. But that's another one of those things that we make a plan for, whether, I'll get my fire chief hat on here. We have multiple plans in place when we respond to those, including if the hydrants don't work or we have issues, we have water tenders that will come for our neighbors. And so we have those plans in place. And again, that's all part of our preparation process.
So what would you say the water supply status is? Stable or is there still work to be
The
done?
water supply is stable right now. We have repairs that are being made, but again, well in advance, we saw that when we saw the levels dropping yesterday, we started with immediately addressing those levels concerns, and we started initiating our response, which included obviously identifying and fixing and repairing those issues, and then having water available for our citizens in the event it should continue to escalate. So